Hey sis, welcome to Salam by Mary Talahun. If you are new here, I am so glad that you have found this space. This is where we talk all things motherhood, marriage, faith, womanhood, and the beautiful, messy moments in between. It is a place for the honest conversations, the kind that remind you that you're not alone. So whether you are in a season of becoming, healing, or simply just trying to hold it all together, you're seen and you are safe here. So salam. Today, we are diving right into a topic that is close to my heart. The motherhood identity shift. Who am I now when you are a new mom? That being said, this episode really is for new moms, but I do think that, mamas, established mamas that have been in the game for a minute can also resonate with this, with today's episode. But new moms, soon to be moms, or any woman who's really ever looked in the mirror postpartum and asked herself, where did I go? So, all right, I'm gonna take you through a quick story time. Before I became a wife and a mother, I was single, if you didn't know. I was living alone, working full-time, and creating a life that at that time felt full and familiar. I knew how to take care of myself. I was responsible for nobody else but me. So I knew my routines, my patterns, my rhythms, and I had freedom to decide when to sleep, freedom to decide what I was going to eat at any given moment, where to go, what to spend my money on, and that was my norm. That was the version of me that I knew best. And then everything shifted. Marriage. So marriage brought its own beautiful changes, from learning to share life, space, and purpose with someone else, my husband. That was a completely eye-opening experience and still is for me. It was sanctifying, but I still felt somewhat like me. You know what I'm saying? A growing version of me. But I guess the core felt intact. And then came motherhood. And I gotta be honest with you, I wasn't ready for how much it was gonna stretch me. The shift into motherhood felt like an earthquake in my identity, if I have to describe it in the best way I possibly can right now. I was no longer Mary. I was mommy. And while that title is one of the greatest honors of my life, one that I am so proud to carry, I did have moments initially where I felt like I was lost inside. And it wasn't just the lack of sleep or the constant demands of a newborn. It was deeper than that. It was internal, if I could be really honest with you. The quiet whispers of asking, who am I, started to get louder and louder and louder, and then boom. Because motherhood isn't just about taking care of a baby. It is about the becoming of a woman that you've never met before. And no one really prepares you for how jarring that is. I found myself mourning pieces of my old life, not because I didn't love my child, nowhere near anything remotely close to that, but because I just didn't recognize myself anymore. The woman who used to take spontaneous walks, who stayed up late journaling and painting, who thrived in solitude and silence, that woman had become a caretaker, a nurturer, and at times a ghost in the background of my own story. And I had to reintroduce myself to me. And sis, that is the heart of this identity shift that I'm talking about. It's not about going back to who you were before. It's about honoring who you were while embracing who you are becoming. So let's talk about some of the layers of this particular transition. And I jotted some notes down from when I was journaling the past couple of months, because identity is not one-dimensional. It's complex. And motherhood, girl, in all of its glory, it touches every part of it. So the first thing I wrote down is the emotional shift. There's a certain emotional awakening that happens when you become a mom. You know that saying, when a child is born, so is a new mom? Yes, that right there. The love is overwhelming, but so is the responsibility, and your heart expands in ways you didn't know it could, ways that you never honestly imagined. But so does your capacity on the other end to worry, to feel guilt, and your vulnerability. And I remember that I cried more in the last few, like in the first few weeks of motherhood, more than I had in the past year. Not out of sadness, but out of just emotional overflow. So I would look at my baby and I would feel so much love that it would hurt. And those who get it, get it. And then 5 minutes later, I would just feel like fear come over me, questioning, am I doing this right? Am I enough? Am I giving my baby everything he needs? The emotional roller coaster was just a lot. The second thing is the physical shift. So let's be real. I talked about this in my last episode, but our bodies go through a transformation that deserves reverence. Stretch marks, healing incisions, sore muscles, stitches, fatigue, beyond description. Like I'm just scratching the surface on that. Our bodies become homes for our babies and then tools to nourish and care for them. And in that process, we oftentimes forget to honor our own physical needs. And I guess I had to just relearn how to look at my body with compassion, with grace, to see the softness, not as a weakness, but as evidence of strength, to stop comparing myself to the woman I was pre-baby, and instead to thank God for what my body endured and produced. And that was my baby right in front of me. I can't even lie, sis. This was the hardest part for me, to be completely honest with you. Right before I got pregnant, I was honestly in the best shape I had been in. I was on like a 2-year journey of learning to love my body. And, I was at that time very active in the gym and followed a clean diet for the most part. And the result of that was I lost 60 pounds naturally. And then, boom, I got pregnant shortly after. So the chemicals in my brain really just went wild. But my body did something so incredible. So I praise God for using me as a vessel to bring my baby here. My next point is the mental shift. Motherhood changes the way you think. Suddenly, your mental energy is being poured into feeding schedules, pumping, nap routines, developmental milestones, and future planning. It just does not stop. And there's just less space for the things that used to occupy your mind. And I remember trying to read a book that I loved so much, right? Shortly after I gave birth. And I couldn't even get through a single chapter because my mind felt scattered and just preoccupied. I had to accept that my mental bandwidth is a real thing. And mine had to be completely reallocated, completely shifted around. which leads me into the social shift. Friendships change. Some grow deeper, others fade quietly. It's just, you never know. Your social life looks completely different. Your availability shifts, and you may feel misunderstood or even isolated. And I think for me, it was a little tough because I used to be the friend who always showed up. Now, after becoming a mom, I was canceling plans last minute because of blowouts or teething or exhaustion. And that was the biggest thing, exhaustion. And while my true friends gave me grace, I had to come to terms with the loneliness that sometimes comes with that season. Ooh, I'm choking on my words today. And the spiritual shift too. Ooh, this one right here. This is the one. The spiritual shift. I think this might be the most profound shift of all of them. So motherhood, it drove me deeper into the heart of God. In my weakest moments, I found his strength. In the quiet 3 a.m. feedings, I felt his presence like never before. And I began to see God not only as my father, but as a parent. And there's something sacred about partnering with God to nurture a life. And it made my faith feel more raw, more real. And I had questions, doubts, moments of desperation, but I also had encounters, breakthroughs, and grace. And ooh, I'm getting so emotional. Jesus is still Lord, my God. All right. I did not mean to get like this, but oh Lord, where do I go from here? So how do we hold on to ourselves, our dreams, our desires, our identity, while still fully stepping into motherhood, I guess, is the question that really started to boil for me. And here's what I've learned and what I want to pass on to you, sis. And I got a few points, so stay with me. Hopefully I can get through this without breaking down. One being, give yourself permission to evolve. You are not the same, and that is okay. You weren't meant to stay the same. Evolution is a sign of life, so let yourself become. Let yourself grow, and let yourself be surprised by who you're becoming. My second point is carve out time for you. I hope you're writing these points down, by the way. So the first one is give yourself permission to evolve. Point number 2, carve out time for you. Even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes a day. Journal, pray, stretch, read your Bible, sip tea in silence, whatever. Just do something that reminds you that you still exist. Not just as a mom, but as a woman, as a creative, and as a soul. I've actually been doing this a lot more recently. And like randomly, I will walk up to my husband and I'll just let him know, look, I'm about to go for a walk. I need 20 minutes. I'm going to see you real soon, okay? And he just responds with, okay, love, go ahead. I got this. Do you? You're good. And I don't know why I was so scared to claim that time before. But now I'm not playing about that time. I need me time. Mommy needs to breathe really quick because I can only be the best version for them, for my baby when I am the best version of me for me. The third thing is to invite God into your identity journey. He knows who you are, even when you forget. He is the one that knit you together before motherhood, and he is still shaping you now. So ask him to show you the new version of yourself that he's forming, and ask him to show you where he is leading you and where you are called to be. The next thing I have is to let go of guilt. You're not a bad mom for missing parts of your old life. You're human. Grief and gratitude can coexist. It's possible. And you can love your child and still long for moments of your past self. That doesn't make you ungrateful. It just makes you real, right? Let's keep it a buck. What's my next point? Surround yourself with safe voices. Sis, your community matters. So find women who are going to speak life into this season for you. Women who won't judge you when you say, I'm tired, or I don't know who I am right now, or I just don't have it. We need safe spaces where we can be both mother and me. I can't even tell you how many times I picked the phone up and called my sister and was like, I don't have it today. I don't know what I'm doing. Can you please come over and help me organize my house? And she never once hesitated, never once judged, never once gave me a question. It was always, I got you. What you need? I'm coming. Give me a few minutes. I'll be right there. And I'm just so grateful for her, y'all. So find your community and don't be afraid to ask for help. Remember, this is a season. So not every part of this identity shift is going to last forever. Your baby won't be this small forever. The fog will lift. Your energy will return. It took me, probably 9 months postpartum for me to start getting energy back and starting to feel like I had my spark again. And I say that to say that new versions of you will continue to emerge. Motherhood is not the end of your story. It's a beautiful chapter in your story. And sis, if nobody has told you that lately, you're doing better than you think. You truly are. And God sees you. He delights in you, and you are not lost. You are just becoming. So to every woman listening who feels like she's disappeared in diapers, in nap schedules, and pumping, and in feeding, and just endless bottles, this is your reminder, okay? This is your sign. This is your reminder. I don't know who this is for, but this is for somebody. You are still in there, girl. You are not forgotten. You are not erased. You are expanding. Motherhood is not a loss of identity. It is an invitation into a deeper one. So just allow yourself to become, girl. Give yourself some grace. Let yourself be found in the becoming. And don't ever forget that you are God's daughter first before you are anything else, period. Okay? You are the Lord's daughter first before you are anything else, before you are a sister, a wife, a friend. You are a child of God, okay? And he's not done with your story, sis. He is not done. He is still writing. He is still writing. I think I'm good right there. So, sis, again, thank you so much for being here. I just want to remind you that there is power in your voice. Don't forget it. Until next time, salam.